and make we take the vaccine. We go stand by one another. We go win. My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and Peking. COVID-19 no big pass we go fight and we go win. Just as long as we remember to always do the right thing. We go win.
To every girl child, whether the health care, be the education. 'Cause I be small girl, oh, but I get big dreams. I am a child, the light, the dream, and the hope for tomorrow, hope for tomorrow. And I deserve the best. Indeed, I'm a pride of Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian child.
Every boy, every girl deserves a future that is bright. But when we fold our hands, who is gonna shine the light? There is no better time for you and me to take a stand. So give love and bring hope to the future in your hand, yeah.
I am a child, the light, the dream, and the hope for tomorrow.
I'm the hope for tomorrow.
And I deserve
I'm the hope for tomorrow.
Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian child.
I'm a Nigerian child.
I'm a Nigerian child.
I'm a Nigerian child. Say, I'm a Nigerian child. I'm a Nigerian child.
I am the future of my nation. I am the new generation. I am a light that cannot be snuffed, a dream that cannot be stopped. I can be the best. I have no other home besides this piece of land to call my own. I am a Nigerian child.
Alele, 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 jalape, alele. If I get chance, children stay to celebrate them every day. Give your right today, baby, no rob them of your tomorrow. Who's my boy, their face, baby, no let them to live in sorrow.
I am a child, the light, the dream, and the hope for tomorrow. And I deserve the best. Indeed, I'm a pride of Nigeria.
I'm a Nigerian child. I am the reason to believe that it is possible. I'm the result to show that anyone is capable. No child is less important, no matter who you are. With a little love and the chance, you too can be a star, yes.
Ekspedisinya mencapai Tatar. Língua e dibujo.
Apa foi matemática? Problema, multiplicação.
Kita tutup pinagula amon. Itsokli amon. Upay pag-eskwela.
When I see Ebola, I'm feel very sad. That is why I say I want to become a medical doctor.
Des cosas de gozo, a permettre de donner des savoir, des dames respectables.
I do not think about my leg. I feel free.
My brother, my sister, mama, papa, and pikin. Corona, no big passes. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. We go stand by each other, we go win. Oh. Corona, na the virus, where they worry human being. It no get Lego, but it dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat am, we fit stop am, if we maintain good hygiene. And if we collect our vaccine, we go win. Oh. Do it for yourself and your neighbor. Do it for the people you love. Vaccines, they protect us and save us from many diseases before. We are special, we're courageous, we are awesome human beings. We too much, oh, we get power, we can conquer anything. So let's stand up, pull our sleeves up, and make we take the vaccine. Let us stand by each other, we go win. Yeah. You don't take what we dey wait, we dey pray for solution to come our way. Meanwhile, Corona they do anyhow, we dey use people life, we dey play. If you young, if you old, you be black or yellow, you don't care for your tribe or your race. No matter your color or age, COVID no they look good your face. So get vaccinated, it's safe and secure and need to protect lives. Make you no delay this, make yama disease no reach your side. No go to think say you young go, say you no go fit catch you wrong go. So register with your turn up, sleeve up and give it a shot though. A moment of silence for the ones where we lost. A moment of thank you for the people where they help us. But our hope no they finish. Coro hit us, but we're back in a minute. We take our vaccines and we rise like the phoenix. All we do is win, win, win. We go win this. So do it for yourself and your neighbor. Yes, do it for the people you love. Oh, vaccines don't they protect us and save us from many diseases before. We are special, we're courageous, we are captured human beings. We the super, we get power, we can conquer anything. But we must stand up, roll our sleeves up, and take the vaccine. We go stand by one another. We go know. My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and Peking. COVID-19, no big pass. We go fight and we go win. Just as long as we remember to always do the right thing. We go, we know.
If you cover me, wait, it's your own. This new central, AIT. That's how you people always cover me.
A dream that cannot be stopped. I can be the best. I have no other home besides this piece of land to call my own. I am a Nigerian child.
If I get chance, Children's Day, and celebrate them every day. Give them right today, baby, no rob them of your tomorrow. Who's my for their face, baby, we don't let them to live in sorrow.
I am a child, alive, the dream and the hope for tomorrow. And I deserve the best, being at the pride of Nigeria.
I'm a Nigerian child. I am the reason to believe that it is possible. I'm the result to show that anyone is capable. No child is less important, no matter who you are. With a little love and the chance, you too can be a star, yes.
Tukutuna pingarati, nyantas fiti Kasi miarahatra fahitantara. Lengua e dibujo.
Apa foi matemática?
Problema, multiplicação.
Kita tayo sa pinagula amon. Itsokli amon. Upay pag-eskwela.
When I see Ebola, I feel very sad. That is why I say I want to become a medical doctor.
Les personnes qui reçoivent la permettre de donner des savoirs, des dames respectables.
I do not think about my leg. I feel free.
My brother, my sister, mama, papa, and pikin. Corona, no big passes. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. We go stand by each other, we go win. Oh. Corona, na the virus, where they worry human being. It no get Lego, but it dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat am, we fit stop am, if we maintain good hygiene. And if we collect our vaccine, we go win. Oh. Do it for yourself and your neighbor. Do it for the people you love. Vaccines, they protect us and save us from many diseases before. We are special, we're courageous, we are awesome human beings. We too much, oh, we get power, we can conquer anything. So let's stand up, pull our sleeves up, and make we take the vaccine. Let us stand by each other, we go win. Yeah. You don't tell what we dey wait, we dey pray for solution to come our way. Meanwhile, Corona they do anyhow, we dey use people life, we dey play. If you young, if you old, you be black or yellow, you don't care for your tribe or your race. No matter your color or age, COVID no they look good your face. So get vaccinated, it's safe and secure and need to protect lives. Make you no delay this, make yama disease no reach your side. No go they think say you young go, say you no go fit catch you wrong go. So register with your turn up, sleeve up and give it a shot though. A moment of silence for the ones where we lost. A moment of thank you for the people where they help us. But our hope no they finish. Coro hit us, but we're back in a minute. We take our vaccines and we rise like the phoenix. All we do is win, win, win. We go win this. So do it for yourself and your neighbor. Yes, do it for the people you love. Oh, vaccines don't they protect us and save us from many diseases before. We are special, we're courageous, we are captured human beings. We the super, we get power, we can conquer anything. But we must stand up, roll our sleeves up, and make we take the vaccine. We go stand by one another, we go win. My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and Peking. COVID-19 no big pass, we go fight and we go win. Just as long as we remember to always do the right thing, we go win.
May I ask that we please settle down? May I ask that we settle down for this event today? Thank you so much. Please play. Thank you.
Give me your ears, I know go back. The candy, good love and care. Kings and queens, leaders of tomorrow. Life for better if you pay attention to every girl child. Whether the healthcare, be the education. 'Cause I be small girl, oh, but I get big dreams. I am a child, the light, the dream, and the hope for tomorrow. Hope for tomorrow. And I deserve the best. Indeed, I'm a pride of Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian child. I'm a Nigerian child. I'm a Nigerian child. I'm a Nigerian child. I'm a Nigerian
makaranta ilimi tarbiyya malami yara in sun yi kyawu kasa ta kyawu bai daya.
Every boy, every girl deserves a future that is bright. But when we fold our hands, who is gonna shine the light? There is no better time for you and me to take a stand. So give love and bring hope to the future in your hand, yeah.
I am a child, the light, the dream, and the hope for tomorrow.
I'm the hope for tomorrow.
And I deserve the
Hope for tomorrow.
May I invite the students of Africa Community School to lead us in the national anthem. The students of Africa Community School, which offers all-round education from early years through junior school and senior levels and promotes progressive education. They're here to lead us in the national anthem. And may I ask that we all rise.
Nigeria's
Thank you so much, students of Africa Community School. May we take our seats. Thank you. Please let's give them a round of applause for leading us so beautifully in the national anthem. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented by the Minister of State for Education, the Minister of Education, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, the directors and officials from the Ministry of Education and other ministries, departments, and agencies here present, the Commissioner for Education from Edo State here present, the UNICEF representative in Nigeria, the private sector partners who are here alongside government partners in the room, the traditional rulers who are in the room, multilateral donors, development partners, civil society organizations, the young people who are here, the students and teachers who are here, our media partners, all invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the launch of the Nigeria Learning Passport, brought to you through the collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Education in Nigeria and UNICEF. It's powered by Microsoft and funded by the Global Partnership for Education. At the center of this launch is the Nigerian child, particularly those who are out of school or in need of support to ensure the education they're receiving is of sufficient quality. Over the last decade, Nigeria has made great strides in improving access to education, building school infrastructure, and increasing on-time school enrollment. However, education, as we all know, experienced an unprecedented disruption to schooling and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. At the peak of the pandemic, we had nationwide closures of schools, which impacted more than 50 million learners. Over 2/4 of a school year was lost. Domestic spending on education came under tremendous pressure due to the global slowdown of economic activities, not forgetting that marginalized children, and especially girls, are still bearing the brunt of the pandemic. The objective of what we are gathered for today, the Nigeria Learning Passport, is to support children and youth in the continuity of learning and acquisition of skills for the future. In the course of today's event, we will get to learn about the workings and functionalities of the Nigeria Learning Passport, and of course, be able to determine the eligibility and distribution of this tool to those who desperately need it. The Learning Passport is a tool to transform societies through education, and today, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you to this event. My name is Inya Ode, and I'll be taking you through this event over the next few hours. I'd like to now respectfully invite Mr. Peter Hawkins, who is the country representative of UNICEF Nigeria, for his opening remarks. Please join me to give him a round of applause. Thank you.
His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, very ably represented by the Minister of State for Education, the Honorable Minister of Education, ably represented by the PS Education, directors, and especially the Commissioners of Education from the states, development partners, our partners in Microsoft, Airtel, and IHS. May I stand on existing protocols? On behalf of UNICEF, it is my great honor to be here today and to welcome everybody on this incredible day of the child. The Nigeria Learning Passport is an innovation that is for Nigerian children. It's to enable them to learn better, and it's a passport so that no child is left behind. It's an online, offline, and mobile learning platform developed and sustained by Microsoft globally, and it will equip children, teachers, parents, and all society across the country with tools for learning at home and in school, today and in the future. As we all know, education has been interrupted over the past couple of years globally. The Nigeria Learning Passport is one step in helping us find solutions to the constant interruption of learning for children wherever they are. COVID-19 was responsible for over 50 million children's interruption in Nigeria alone for their learning, which was disrupted due to intermittent school closures. Nigeria Learning Passport is a tool that would ensure continuous learning even in a pandemic. Globally, the frequent attacks on schools, and here in Nigeria where over 1,400 children have been kidnapped and therefore interrupting their education. The Nigeria Learning Passport allows them not only to have continuous learning if their schools have been closed, but it also allows for children to catch up in areas where they have missed out. Over time, the quality of education has also suffered. Children no longer are able to read books outside of school. Many children have been unable to go to school, have been able to access school. The whole point of reimagining education with Nigeria Learning Passport at its heart is to ensure that all children have the experience of learning. The Nigeria Learning Passport allows for children at school to continue to have face-to-face education, but can enhance that experience in their own time, in their own place. For out-of-school children, it allows them to access and navigate through a multiple of 14,000 papers and ideas that will allow them to resume their learning or indeed start their learning if that is the case. There are 65 million people aged 10 to 24 in Nigeria, a massive demographic population, the future of this country. Their resilience, their capabilities, their talent can only be seized if they have an opportunity to be able to access learning. 90% of the world's jobs worldwide have a digital component of one form or another. These children have the skills, the intuition, the respect for devices and be able to navigate through them better than certainly I can. But while they can do it, they don't have access to the material or the devices to be able to do it. Our challenge today is that youth must be equipped with the skills and opportunities that will transform Nigeria into a country with sustainable economic growth. The cost of inaction with that youth is too high to bear. With improvements in digital connectivity, skills and development, Nigeria can fully unleash its full economic and talented opportunity to create jobs and transform people's lives with young people leading the way. Nigeria Learning Passport is just the content. You will all be asking, so what else are we offering? There are programs like Generation Unlimited Nigeria, a collective of the private sector, the public sector, the international community, and young people themselves that will use the Nigeria Learning Passport and complement it through investment in the digital platform. It will allow for the expansion of the digital platform through partnerships with the IHS. It will allow greater access by young people to data through partnerships with Airtel, MTN, and others. It will allow adolescent girls, the most deprived of all our society, to access things whenever they want and however they want. We recognize the potential for digital learning and how it widens access to and improve the quality of inclusive education for all, especially for those children who are marginalized and have been left behind. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and children in the room, I see the deployment of Nigeria Learning Passport as an opportunity to narrow that digital inequality, to reach the most marginalized, empower girls and young women, and prepare a workforce for the future. We need to ensure that the resources coming downstream to drive the recovery of COVID-19 have a strong focus on education, connectivity, and access to devices and affordable data. I was in Zamfara last week, where the excitement around Nigeria Learning Passport was palpable. A teacher asked me, when will they have access to it? A young girl was so excited that she was going to go home and access the app. It's that sort of connectivity that allows people, wherever they are, whatever their situation, to feel part of the global and Nigeria learning of today. For its part, UNICEF commits to co-creating and co-leading an initiative together with the Ministry of Education to strengthen that collaboration, accelerate progress on digital learning and skills across this beautiful and great country. We look forward to continued collaboration with the government, with the private sector, and many of you here, and I want to especially thank Microsoft for their global commitment to this, to development partners, and GPE have ensured that we are ahead of every other country in this, but to children and communities themselves, the teachers, the mothers, the fathers, the children themselves, and all the stakeholders to expand digital learning and skills for young people in Nigeria. Once again, to all of you, and especially you, Minister of State for Education, on this great achievement, congratulations on this great occasion, and thank you very much indeed. I look forward to working with you forever.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hawkins. Please, another round of applause, a healthier one for him. Thank you. Indeed, looking forward to working together, because collaboration is key to making the world a better place. Speaking to SDG 4, which is about quality education, and of course 17, the partnerships for the goals. Indeed, together we can make it happen. And that's why we're here today, because of this collaboration between all the partners present. And to speak a little bit more, or enlighten us a bit more about the Nigeria Learning Passport, we have a video that's going to play right now, and we invite you to take a look.
See our Learning Passport platform. This is new, and I love it. We have many subjects loaded in it.
I'm happy because of this new Learning Passport program, and my teachers have been using to make my learning easier by posting my subjects and material that I can use to help me understand it better. They've also been guiding me on how to navigate it easily. It's all very exciting.
The Learning Passport was recently introduced to our school. We were trained, and it allows us to access several subjects online. The good part of it is that it works on mobile phones. So, as a teacher, it allows me to prepare at my convenience. It is highly flexible and adaptable.
Our students are so excited using the learning passport, even we, the teachers.
Well, as a teacher, it buttresses your home point when taught in class, so you can refer them to the platform to learn more on their own. Then particularly assessment, the assessment part, students can make use of that assessment part to be able to upgrade and evaluate what they have learned.
So for the students, it's a space for them to explore and engage responsibly.
It makes my job easier, and the fact that I can use it on different platforms, be it phone or the computer system.
I have always imagined the day where I can learn online, and it is now possible.
I see it on the TV, and now I have access.
This is the future, and this is my future.
To me, learning passport means I can measure up with my peers.
To me, passport learning means improved education.
My experience with learning passports has been truly amazing. It's interactive, it's engaging, and the more I learn, the more I want to learn.
Indeed, the more I learn, the more I hope to learn. Amazing, amazing. And with the big smiles on their faces, you would know that, yes, this is indeed a tool to get better and indeed to improve our education. And just to recognize someone specially, immediately after playing that video, who has been part of this from the inception, and is one of the co-creators of the Learning Passport. Now, this event is the first one, this launch is the first he's attending in person, and we're so glad to welcome Mac Glovinski from UNICEF headquarters. Mac, where are you? Just give us a wave wherever you are. Oh, he's sitting right at the back. Welcome, Mac. Thank you so much for this tool. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Right, we move on very swiftly to take some messages of support. As we have said over and over again, this is not just about one organization, but it's a collaboration. And indeed, we've come together to make this work. Would like to invite UNICEF's 8th Executive Director, who became ED on the 1st of February, and she brings to the role decades of experience in developing innovative policy that empowers underserved communities around the world. She has extensive experience building, elevating, and managing diverse workforces and mobilizing resources and political support for a broad range of initiatives. She'll be joining us virtually, and here she is. Please, let's give a warm welcome to Catherine M. Russell.
Today marks a critical moment for children in Nigeria. The launch of the Learning Passport, a new way to help close learning gaps and give every child a fair chance in life. We are now entering the 3rd year of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected nearly every aspect of children's lives, especially their education. Before COVID-19, about 10.5 million Nigerian children aged between 5 and 14 were not in school. Today in Nigeria, more than 9.7 million children are at risk of never returning to school, their learning left behind. The Learning Passport can help us change that. By offering simple, easy, and fun ways to learn, as well as tailor-made training programs, the Learning Passport will help respond to the needs of every child. With online, offline, and mobile options, it can help us reach the most vulnerable and marginalized learners. All told, it will help reach 3 million learners in 2022 alone. The Learning Passport has already reached 2 million children around the world in 20 countries. Now, thanks to partners like Microsoft and Airtel Africa, we can celebrate its arrival in Nigeria and its potential to offer world-class digital learning to every child. Congratulations.
Amazing. Please a round of applause. Thank you. And our next message of support is from the acting CEO of Global Partnership for Education, who brings knowledge and expertise implementing results-based strategies in global education and across other development fields, as well as extensive management experience to the table. He is Charles North, and he'll be joining us virtually. Charles?
Greetings, Your Excellency, Vice President Osinbajo, Minister Malam Adamu Adamu, Lagos State Governor, Nigeria Children's Parliament, partners from UNICEF, Microsoft, IHS, Airtel, colleagues, friends all. Thank you for hosting this important and exciting event. GPE is the largest partnership and fund dedicated exclusively to bringing quality education to the most marginalized children. That is what we have done together in Nigeria for the last 10 years. GPE has helped Nigeria ensure vulnerable girls, poor children, refugees, and displaced children go to school. With GPE's financial support, Nigeria has given scholarships to 417,000 girls to buy school uniforms and supplies. Together, we have trained 132,000 teachers and created better learning environments in 46,000 schools. Nigeria, with GPE's support, provided educational materials to 500,000 children who were not in school in the emergency-affected Northeast. GPE's support to Nigeria has helped keep children learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. That support has funded water and sanitation facilities and better hygiene practices, protecting girls from gender-based violence and helping schools reopen safely. Globally, our pandemic response sent $500 million to 66 partner countries, with 1/4 of our grants funding children's digital learning. When COVID-19 shuttered schools, many children around the world were left behind because they lack internet access. That is why today's launch of Nigeria Learning Passport is so important. It will ensure that more children get an education through technology and distance learning. Many people value technology because it makes life easier. But what I appreciate most are the possibilities that technology creates. The Learning Passport will ensure continuity of learning, bridge the digital divide, keep students engaged, and build resilience to future shocks. GPE emphasizes equitable access in every aspect of education. We hope that every Nigerian child, including the poorest and most vulnerable, will eventually be able to access the Learning Passport. Remote learning is also a way to keep learners safe in communities that lack security. We look forward to exploring this with UNICEF and the government of Nigeria. Even before the pandemic, Nigeria had a staggering number of children, over 10.5 million, who were not in school. That is 1 of every 3 children. Even though primary education is free and compulsory in Nigeria, and 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. Without educating every child, it will be challenging for Nigeria to realize its full potential. That's why I'm so pleased by the leadership that His Excellency President Buhari showed at our Global Education Summit last year by signing the Heads of State Declaration on Domestic Education Financing, inspiring other African heads of state to also make commitments. We encourage Nigeria to follow through on these commitments, and of course, we at GPE will continue our robust partnership to support education in Nigeria. Imagine what we could do if we realized the goal of educating all our children. Imagine the positive change. Imagine the safer, more prosperous society we will create. And imagine what education will mean to girls like Miriam Issa. This 8-year-old second grader recently told us, I want to be a teacher so I can help other children learn. That is the promise of education for the next generation. GPE will continue to walk alongside you to build a better future for all your children. Thank you.
Wow. Indeed, having GPE work beside us to ensure that we have a safer and prosperous society through education would definitely go a long way. Thank you once again, Charles North. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you. And for the next message of support, we invite the client technology lead of Microsoft, who has worked closely with customers spanning several industries and geographies. He's helped them to align in their business strategies and outcomes with technology capabilities to accelerate their digital transformation over the past 6 years. He's here in person, on stage, and his name is Babajide Adeyemo. Please, a round of applause for him.
Good morning, everyone. His Excellency, the Vice President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of State. This one, eh? Okay. This better? Oh. His Excellency, the Vice President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Education. The Honorable Minister of Education, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Education. Allow me to stand on existing protocols. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. In the Nigerian context, this mission becomes even more critical when it comes to education and its impact on securing a sustainable future for Nigerian citizens and the country at large. There is abundant evidence for how seriously Microsoft takes education in the multitude of initiatives and programs designed specifically for education, and the Learning Passport is yet another demonstration of this commitment. We are very proud of our partnership with the Federal Ministry of Education, UNICEF, GPE, and other stakeholders, and we are honored with our role to be able to provide the technology platform that underpins the Learning Passport. On a personal note, I am proud of Microsoft's involvement and partnership because the majority of my formal education was done through government schools, and I have experienced firsthand how education can empower and give people hope and social mobility. We remain committed to this partnership and will continue to work to ensure that we can extend the improved capabilities to ensure that the technology is more inclusive, such as offline capabilities and improved analytics, and that these are rolled out and in the hands of learners, educators, administrators, and all other stakeholders as quickly as possible. Thank you again for the partnership, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much, Babajide Adeyemo. Please, let's give him another round of applause as he makes his way to his seat. Indeed, it's a partnership and a collaboration that works. And we invite next to give his message of support, one who manages the regional operations of the largest provider of mobile telecommunications infrastructure, deployment, and post-construction management services in Africa, in Europe, and in the Middle East. A lot of specialization goes into the building of towers and helping mobile network operators to manage their sites. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Ian Oga Akwe, who is the Manager, Regional Operations of IHS Nigeria Limited. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. The Vice President, ably represented by the Minister of State for Education, the Minister of Education, also ably represented, Please allow me stand on existing protocol. Good morning, all. On behalf of the executive management and staff of IHS Nigeria, it is with great pleasure that we welcome you all to the launch of the UNICEF Learning Passport. IHS Nigeria is part of IHS Towers and one of the world's largest independent owners, operators, and developers of shared communications infrastructure. At IHS, we are dedicated to engineering excellence. We provide a wide range of communication, infrastructure, solutions, and managed services to help our customers in emerging markets achieve their connectivity goals. Our commitment to meeting the growing demand for mobile telecommunication services is delivered through 16,854 sites across Nigeria. Given that education is the bedrock of national development, it is fitting that we help create the tools and learning environment for these young minds. The youth are the future and leaders of tomorrow, thus making the shaping of their curious minds a top priority for all. As a company, we are committed to the development of our communities through our 4 sustainability pillars, namely ethics and governance, environment and climate change, our people and communities, education, and economic growth. Our response to the education challenge in Nigeria aligns with the UN Sustainability Development Goals, SDG 4, quality education. We believe we help contribute to education development through the provision of quality learning facilities. Today, we are happy to witness the launch of the Learning Passport to explore the intellectual curiosity of young people in Nigeria. IHS's commitment to the education and empowerment of the Nigerian youth and our long-standing collaboration with UNICEF to make communities child-friendly is irrevocable. As part of our commitment, as a member of Gen Youth Niger, we're well-placed to provide connectivity to schools in approximately 2,000 communities across the country to ensure that Learning Passport can be widely deployed. We thank UNICEF and other stakeholders who have ensured the success of this project. Thank you all for joining us today, and we wish you a safe return home. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Ian. Please let's give him another round of applause, and indeed for all our supporters. Thank you so much for this collaboration to ensure that we get it right in education. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, would like to recognize our online audience. It's a hybrid event, and we know many are joining us from across the world. 163 on Zoom already, 9 on YouTube, including students who are right now watching this event from Kebbi State. Please let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you for joining us online. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the panel discussion. And this panel is a very distinguished panel. And we're going to be discussing digital learning as an enabler for better access to quality learning. Quite a lot of things have happened in the past 3 years or 2 with COVID-19, and there's been a lot of disruption. But then it has also brought about digital learning and has brought it as a viable solution to ensure continuity of learning when schools were shut for up to 6 months in this country. But as the Nigerian Learning Passport is being launched today, our conversation on digital learning must actually shift from why we need digital learning to how to deliver it at scale and with speed and quality. And for this panel, a distinguished one, I'd like to respectfully invite the panelists to join me here on the podium or on the stage. First of all is the Honorable Minister of State for Education, who's representing the Vice President today, and he has marched and made his way here. I think you should give him a better round of applause. for taking center stage. You're welcome. Next, I'd like to invite on stage the country representative of UNICEF Nigeria, Mr. Peter Hawkins, who is marching gracefully as well to the stage. Thank you so much, Peter. And next is the Regional Operation Director for Airtel Northwest Region, thank God, Otokpa, who is making his way here as well. Thank God, you're welcome. Please here. And finally, to add some spice to this panel, I'd like to invite Azizat Ishahu, who is the Speaker of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. You're welcome, Azizat. Please, a round of applause for her as she makes her way here. And to complete this panel, I'd like to invite Inya Ode to take her seat as the moderator. Fantastic. Thank you so much once again for being part of this panel. We appreciate you all for the time and indeed all the efforts you have made to making education work in Nigeria. Just a few ground rules before we move on. Everyone will have a chance. We'll put a question to you and you'll have a chance to speak for about 3 minutes in answering your questions, 3 minutes or less. And after that, we'll take some questions from the audience, and then we'll come back to you for your responses and indeed your final comments. Just to say again, please, when you're done speaking, if you could just switch off the microphone beside you, that will prevent some hallback in the room. Great. So, swiftly, we move to speak to you, Honorable Minister of State for Education. Knowing that the government at the federal and state levels is committed to actually scaling up approaches to support continuity of learning through technology. But in doing this, we realize that there must be barriers. And we're asking now what these barriers are that could affect access and utilization to the digital learning solutions and how government is addressing this challenge.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My understanding is that we have this beautiful opportunity to work with UNICEF and the rest of the world, and we thank everyone who's made this contribution and all who's been working from the background. The federal government of Nigeria, as you heard from Mr. Hawking's report, had been committed over the years to basic education, almost using the UBEC platform to make sure that it's enforceable. However, we've seen gaps over the years, and this learning passport is designed specifically to reach everybody and as well, make sure that we don't have those gaps anymore. However, you're correct in identifying that there will be serious challenges around its implementation. Nigeria is a diverse country with 774 local governments in nearly 98,000 square kilometers, and this is a huge territory. Penetration, I didn't get the report from the IHS, but if you look at the number of cell sites that they have, that speaks to the broadband penetration capacity around the country. That is one. On the second hand would be platforms themselves. The idea that procurement of platforms, because none of them is produced in Nigeria, and is a huge capital drain for the country. And bringing this to bear would mean that Nigeria will be hemorrhaging serious foreign exchange and would depreciate even at the work or what we are able to do here. So that would be something that we will need to address. Thirdly would be power. Power around everywhere where we've had this penetration and where we do not. Because almost all the set sites are powered by some form of alternate energy or the other. And diesel is a huge cost because it's also not produced here. And therefore, IHS and its collaborators, the Airtel and all the service providers, all of these, the country is bleeding a lot of his foreign exchange and a lot of his earnings in just being able to address some of the basic infrastructure. So if you look at these three, the fourth will be the human content. And around the country, we know there are disparities in how people appreciate technology, and getting everybody to then be on board will be. So how does government want to address these four that I've identified? First, the easiest to look at would then be us collaborating further with UNICEF. And at this point, I always invite global players to look inwards to help us develop local capacities around things like production of laptops, handsets. If, for instance, UNICEF dedicates a little bit of the money it's spending to only procurement of material platforms that are made in Nigeria, that will stimulate economic growth in Nigeria, as well as then make sure that the cost of production and giving this to our students or our partners would then be completely reduced. So people like UNICEF and the rest of the World Bank team need to rethink the procurement exercises to make them locally sensitive and locally directed in order to stimulate the multiplier within the economy that then turns it into something that is useful. The second part of it will be what our challenge is: power. We as a country, when we've procured all of these platforms, we need to address power, and we're addressing it. The federal government is uniquely positioned to do that across board, and we're doing a lot in that direction. However, there are several opportunities for community-scaled grid systems that can then help power production at local levels so that the national grid is not inundated and left for bigger issues. We can address that, and we're using the platform. The president has rolled out the Power Maps Plan and is being briefed by the Ministry of Power. Thirdly will be internet penetration and broadband penetration. My brother, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, we've had this discussion around the bandwidth of penetration as we go to 5G, because migration out of 3G to 5G leaves some spaces for places where those who can upgrade will need to move some of the assets that govern the 3G space to areas that are possibly not able to meet up with the 5G demand. So that spectrum is available. And then on the human resource development, most teachers will be scared that maybe this begins to displace teachers. That challenge is ours at the Teacher Registration Council. We are developing a curricula to then enable teachers to migrate and make transitions that will enable them accommodate what it is that the this Nigerian learning passport would then offer them, because the ability to interact with students, to bring them on board, to make sure that they are using it for the right purpose, and at the times, you know, Nigerian children may be fraught with trying to watch football, make noise, or all the distractions that come with it. So some sort of guidance around those. Those are the key things I'll identify, and I think that the Ministry of Education, the Permanent Secretary, and the directors are addressing those as we go along. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We appreciate you indeed, how you've outlined the barriers and also looked at, you know, how to move forward is absolutely amazing. And indeed, that fear of teachers, the teachers have is so critical, and we're glad it's being addressed and they won't be thrown out of the classroom because they are needed to make this work. But Peter, let's come to you. I mean, half of the world's children and young people are disconnected. They can't access digital learning solutions. So UNICEF is doing a lot, but then how can UNICEF still support the scale-up of digital learning solutions? And what do you think will turn the tide in the access to digital learning?
Thank you. Thank you. I think I need the
Thank you very much. And how do we change the tide? And I think the Honourable Minister's last comment about teachers and the role of teachers, and the same, it's not only teachers, but it's parents, mothers and fathers as well. They are still key to everything that we do. And one of the most important parts or role that they play is to facilitate children's access to learning, whatever that learning is. What we're talking about here is Nigeria Learning Passport, which is a very specific area. And without teachers and mothers and fathers or parents and carers actually wanting to ensure that children should be able to access the Nigeria Learning Passport, it's not going to happen. Right. And it's about sharing devices, it's about encouraging children. I have had many conversations over the past 2 or 3 weeks around the Nigeria Learning Passport. And one of the questions I'm asked more than anything else is, how do you trust children to be able to do it? How can you ensure that children will be able to navigate the Nigeria Learning Passport? They can do it much better than us. Much, much better than us. And I actually proved it on Channels TV the other morning. So the child can come and do it when we will be struggling. So it's that trust, that's the first thing. Then the second thing are the issue around devices. Now one of the interesting things, we have a lot of commercial private enterprise here talking about digital and the digital platform. Why are they here? Because there is a market. There's a massive market in connectivity. And that market is ripe to pick. If you put a tower in a place, if you connect it to data, immediately people would start to connect and to try and access it. So there is that market, but it's also creating and shaping that market. And IHS, what they are doing in trying to expand together with Generation Unlimited Nigeria to expand the digital platform is a crucial part of that. And the Honourable Minister is quite right. The right of way is an important part of all of this, the regulatory framework to allow that to happen, and we would encourage that. Then there is the interoperability of the whole thing and how you get children, teachers or parents and devices aligned so that they can do that. And that will take a while. I think the figure is something like 80 million devices in Nigeria. We have to get it much, much higher. We have some great people here, Mac, Cindy, Ian, all working towards finding a solution, an innovative solution to that issue of devices and connectivity. And it will happen. We've already expanded that area in the past 10, 15 years phenomenally, and over the next 10 years, it will expand even more. And it's that innovation that Nigeria, I think the State Minister is right, with Nigeria's talent, its innovative capacity, and its entrepreneurship, we can build on that and try and find solutions to that.
Homegrown solutions. Thank you so much, Peter. We appreciate that thought. And, speaking of connectivity, I know he was just smiling and, wondering what exactly he would, how this would pan out. But, let me come to you, thank God, and find out what exactly, you would have to say, especially about connectivity, because without connectivity and data, we can't access quality educational content. So for you at Airtel, which is one of my favorite networks, right? So what role do you see telcos actually providing and other private sector actors? What role do they need to play, to reduce costs and remove connectivity barriers? And also, how do we make these efforts around affordability? Yes, who feels me on that? Affordability, right? Right. How do we make these efforts sustainable?
All right, thank you very much. Let me just start by saying, when it comes to data, when it comes to accessibility, as it were, there are two-pronged issues here. Number one is access. Access here speaks to the availability of broadband, both not just in urban areas, but also in rural areas, where we intend to reach the underserved. Number two, affordability, like you rightly mentioned, still speaks to access. Now, we at Airtel, the first thing we've done is to look at these issues, to say, okay, I'm glad one of our partners here, IHS, ensuring that, the rollout of broadband, in various geographies across Nigeria is achieved. Now, this is what we'll leverage on as a telco to ensure that, we provide data services. Now, the partnership we have with UNICEF, first of all, at the pilot stage, is that currently we have, adopted like 10 schools in Kano and 10 in Lagos, the schools have an average of 500 students with zero-rated, data offering. Now, of this 5,000, each of the states about 10,000. When I listen to the speech and the number of out-of-school children, which sits about 10.5 million, that is a far cry, you agree with me. So what I would like to say is that I think broader collaboration needs to be worked out here, particularly with other telcos. Also, the government have a whole lot of role to play. I give you an instance with the issue as relates to right-of-way. You get to some state, the cost of right-of-way is so huge, you really wonder if the state governments or if the particular, teeming population in that state, maybe perhaps the government is not willing to allow them afford or access broadband, connectivity. So I'd like to say in some cases, telco could go into agreement with states. States could waive, the cost of right-of-way as providing, in exchange for providing zero-rated access or zero-rated data for schools in those states. That could just be a way to solve, that issue. In addition, if other telcos come to the party, because the picture Airtel is looking at is to scale from 10 schools in each of the states to about 120 schools in 2030. But it's still a far cry from where we want to be with 10.5 million children out of school in Nigeria alone. I mean, if other telcos come on board, based on scale, also provide, zero-rated data access in schools, I'm sure we'll get a whole lot of mileage to allow students access, the platform, because affordability is key. If you go to some places, people can't even afford to buy, And then finally, I'd like to add that I like what the Honorable Minister said about, local companies coming up to produce, digital devices, tablets, laptops, and all of that. That will put less pressure on the foreign exchange, and of course with attendant multiplier effect locally for us. So for us at Airtel, we are very focused at scaling this up. We look forward to where an average child in Nigerian public school have access to tablet, zero-rated data, no cost implication all across. Thank you very much.
Wow. We do look forward to that day, trust me. And what you have mentioned about collaborating with other telcos is really important. And, this is collaboration. This is the way of the world right now. Without it, we'll definitely not move forward. But then the center of all of this is the young people. And with our youthful population, Azizat, we have tremendous potential to influence the economic trajectory of this country. But the young people have to be healthy, they have to be educated, they have to be empowered and engaged to do so. They also need access to livelihoods. But in your mind, what do you think young people can do? What roles can young people play to accelerate digital learning and overcome some of the barriers that we've mentioned?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be on this platform. I would want to say to your question that young people are at the forefront of technology development in Nigeria. And I say this proudly because I know when I heard about the Nigeria Learning Platform, I said, oh, you have competition. You have more than 30 competition here in Nigeria. And young people, technology, the internet is our oxygen. And within what is available to us in Nigeria, we're doing the best and making the country proud outside. So in the area of agriculture technology, finance technology, health technology, as a medical doctor, I have 2 platforms already that are making use of technology, in edu technology as well, in entertainment technology as well, in entrepreneurship technology. Technology is quite important to us. And what we need, because in terms of accessing those education, we go far and beyond, you understand what I'm saying, to assess what is readily available, even within the limited resources that we have. So young people are doing very well in the area of technology, and at least as far back as 2020, we are responsible for 28% of edu technology in Africa, second to South Africa as well, and that number has increased, and that came with a lot of revenue into the Nigerian economy as well. So young people are doing the best that they can within the environment is available. So the conversation, I was very happy that the honorable ministers and the other senior colleagues, they had mentioned those very pertinent challenges that are affecting young people. I am mostly concerned about the amount of young people, children that we are going to reach with this platform. Because this platform is government partnered, it means that it is more likely to cover more young people, more areas, is more ready to be cheaper compared to business-based learning platform as well. So we've talked about one thing that is important. The internet is not readily available and accessible. So it brings to what I think is also very important for us as a country. What is the budget for education in Nigeria? So if we are planning, if we are requesting for partnerships, what are we doing? I don't expect us, as bearing in mind the challenges that we have, to just skyrocket from where we are to the recommendations by international bodies. But are we making that gradual progress or improvement in our budget allocation? For me, the answer is no. So that way, it is difficult for us to say, okay, we now realize that in the age of pandemic, bearing in mind some of the other issues that we have in Nigeria, and we've come to understand that virtual learning is another way to improve access to education and to educate our young ones. What we have in our budget that ensures that gradually, every year, we are moving closer to that solution to make education very, very accessible. And then to put as a point, like the UNICEF representative, said, young people understand technology. I don't know whether we're born with it, you just give a toddler a tab, and if you practically understand this, because of course technology comes with visual stimulation, auditory stimulation. So this idea is a fantastic idea, and I'm so interested in it because it's government partnered. So it is, like I said, it's more likely to be cheaper, readily accessible, and then you can have partners with other stakeholders to make it readily accessible.
So the young people are ready to take this on.
We are ready. We are ready. We are pushing very hard. We just need the environment, government policies, government budgetary allocation, some of those resources that young people do not have. I don't have huge influence on telecommunications or the budget in that case. But these are where our stakeholders and government are. So they are part of the areas they can make the improvement.
Thank you so much, Azizat. Amazing thoughts. Okay, so we'll take two very quick questions, 30 seconds each. I see two hands already up. So sorry, I've seen the two here. So the gentleman, please, can a microphone get to him? Thank you so much. The first question there. And please, let's know your name. Let's go straight to the point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Wahab Alawiye King. I am the Executive Chairman, Lagos Subeb, and the Dean of all the Subeb Chairmen in Nigeria.
You're welcome.
It has been clearly established here that learning platforms, solutions, and devices like this are needed to bridge the gap that might have existed as a result of COVID, insurgency, and other things. 1. 2, because of the fact that education is a social good, the demand oftentimes outweighs the supply, and that means insufficient quantity. And that aim of social integration we are trying to achieve may not be achieved. This question is to the Honorable Minister of Education State. Don't you think it is necessary for us as a government to show leadership, to show commitment in the area of basic education, that certain percentage of that intervention fund to state should be applied to this learning solution and devices to bridge the gap we are talking about here? Thank you.
So much appreciated. The man behind him, it was the second person I saw. Thank you.
Good morning. Mikhail Ibrahim, Education Advisor, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. Commendable initiative overall this morning with this launching of the Learning Passport. Two issues quickly. First, in December last year, the Federal Ministry of Education launched the e-learning platform. We are in the era of managing resources, related issues. and the learning passport, I see a lot of correlation. It will be interesting to know, since FME, which launched the e-learning passport, is also involved here, the alignment in these resources. Second is about how can this be, as quickly as possible, cascaded down to the state level, local governments, so that teachers, parents, students out there can access these resources in terms of awareness and technical capabilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, I know there's so many other questions, but we need to do this very quickly because of time. But before I come to the Honorable Minister, Peter, he actually mentioned that, yes, e-learning is here and there is need for a bit of an alignment with what we are launching today, the Nigeria Learning Passport. Do we have those fine lines drawn so there's no competition, or, you know, to be able to contextualize properly?
There is no, I mean, as an app, it has its own parameters and a way of working. So it's a safe space, if that's what you're trying to get at. But also your second bit around the states, it is at state level, it's everywhere. Ward, state, everywhere. You can access it through an app, and it's easily accessible. But I think the important thing is what my colleague here said about children themselves accessing it and being transformative in a way. If you remember, in 2020 we had something called the Generation Unlimited Challenge Fund. A team from Maiduguri and one team from Lagos went at it on its own. I didn't think they could do it. They found that the solution during the pandemic, a technical solution. They continued their program. They were referred to the Global Prize, and the Maiduguri team won the Global Education Awards. It was called Street to School. It's a fantastic achievement. That's where young people are using their initiative at the best. But if I also may, I just wanted, the other day Microsoft opened the biggest hub in Africa, the Africa Hub in Lagos, just opposite our office. Not only will Microsoft go to heaven because they've decided to open it in Lagos, but it's also, if I understand correctly, the biggest global lab, and it's here in Nigeria. Yeah. So it's a fantastic achievement and fantastic thing that the Minister of State was saying. Let's find Nigeria solutions to Nigeria's
these
problems.
issues. Thank you so much, Peter. Honorable Minister, a few questions to you on the necessity to show leadership, government showing leadership and commitment as per dealing with the funds and the funding to ensure that this actually works, especially to the state levels, to the local levels and all.
Well, thank you very much. I think maybe we need to appreciate that Nigeria is actually a poor country. It's not a rich country. We don't have the kind of money everybody keeps thinking we have.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually humming in the room and wondering, really?
Yeah, because when people talk about money, Nigeria has one of the lowest per capita income around these parts. With nearly 209 million people, we still have about 135,000 primary schools in this geographical space. A state like Niger State is so spatially challenged that access to a primary school will be maybe like 4 or 5 kilometers. So when you speak to the problems of Nigeria, you're going to be addressing them holistically, because here we are, digital migrants speaking to digital natives and making laws for them. Okay, and how does this work? This will work. Many people say technology. What is technology? Technology, when we teach, we talk about biology, which is knowledge of this. Technology refers to the knowledge of how. Tech means how. So whoever just talks about technology in terms of getting a platform and using it. Nobody's talking about educating Nigerians how these things are made. Nobody's making anything here. Yeah. The country is not producing jack. Everybody wants to procure from those who make them. Now, this is not our idea at all. We need to reconstruct this. There are 28,000 secondary schools in Nigeria.
And yet we are unable to capture even up to 60% of people who should be in secondary schools before you start applying basic knowledge. The states own the space. The states own the space. The federal government is actually just a policy player and essentially a tertiary funder. But the bulk of, there are 2% of the entire consolidated revenue fund of Nigeria is sent to the chairman who has just spoken now. He sent to him. The suburbs. The suburbs are the governors of the country. Yes, because they essentially control what you learn, how you learn it, when you learn it, and access to it. They decide how they apply the funds we send. Our job here is to send that money to them. But because they have to counterpart fund it, they will need to develop a budget that says this is what we want to do. We cannot unilaterally, suo motu, from the federal government, decide for them any state. Because you see, the Constitution of Nigeria works on education being on a concurrent legislative list. So you cannot determine from the Ministry of Education here what we are going to do anyway. So this is the states.
The states.
When people talk about devolution of power in Nigeria, the actual power to produce the manpower of Nigeria has already been devolved. And the states govern how people participate. And this is maybe the hidden truth about how Nigeria should work.
Right.
Because people need to appreciate that whether we say, during COVID, the Ministry of Education is still represented at the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID. We gave $1 billion to every state. The monies literally disappeared because we are not in a position to govern the spaces where they put those monies. And this is the same for all kinds of revenue that goes to the states. The states are the owners of the country. And they decide how much goes to teacher education, teacher training, how many students that can be enrolled. We are even just talking about those who are enrolled. All the states still have gaps.
Yeah.
But I'm happy here. I just saw the Commissioner for Education in Kano leaving the room. I've seen the Commissioner in River State. I've seen that of Adam. I've seen all the commissioners. Each time we get an opportunity like this, and I thank UNICEF for inviting them to the same platform, so that they know we are merely serving them. All of this is at their feet. Whatever the suburb chairman and his governor decides the money is going to be used for, that's what it's going to be used for.
Wow. So it's going back to the states, and thankfully the states are here and the states are listening. Well, very quickly, we're wrapping off right now, but just, your last line, Azizat, let's begin with you, to share your final comments. Please, in just 1 minute, we've run out of time. Thank you, Azizat.
Thank you so much. So I just want to say, of course, the Honorable Minister said something. They are tech migrants and they are making laws and policy for the tech natives. And that is just one thing I want our stakeholders to know. And I would just want to say this for all necessary, because Nigeria is a brilliant country. And for young people like us to want to stay and participate in the development of Nigeria, we need a system that brings us to the table at the beginning, at the very scratch of the discussion, not at the end to receive, but at the very beginning to develop and plan for easy adaptability. That is one. Secondly, I would also want the platform to access necessary youth structures, like we have the Nigerian Youth Parliament that has representatives across all the states and state youth structures as well. And then to also take note the peculiarities of different regions. I represent a very sensitive group. I'm a woman, and I'm a young person. And so for each region, for each community, there are some things that are peculiarly hindering them from access to any form of education, be it technology or the conventional one. So because I saw in the brochure, when we are adapting to local levels, let us take into cognizance the peculiarities of this community.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Azizat. Peter?
I think she said it all.
Okay, let me yield to Thank God.
All right, thank you very much. At Airtel, we look forward to having every child out of school back to school on this platform with zero-rated data. We look forward to scaling up from 10,000 to 20,000 to 1 million to 5 million. We look forward to states coming to us to say, look, let's partner, let's give off your right of way, the cost for right of way, And I can assure you at Airtel, because education is our #1 social responsibility, an area where we're very particular, very focused, and we will not rest on our oars except we see that that is achieved as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And finally, Honorable Minister, you've said it all.
I'm not sure there's anything to say. Thank you very much.
Please give a round of applause for my panel. Honorable Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, Mr. Peter Hawkins, Mr. Thank-God Otokwa, and Azizat Yishahu. We really appreciate you and thank you for being part of this. So I'll just invite you to stand, so we'll take a photograph and then you return to your seats. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for the panel. Thank you. I'll not be cut out of the picture. Right. Thank you. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Wow. That was definitely a great panel, and indeed, so many learning points from the panel. Right now, we're going to listen to a song. It's a performance by the choir of Africa Community School. And this song says so much to all that we're talking about today. It was actually written by some of the students who are coming up right now. Chimkasi, Kiki, and Tehila actually got together to write the song. We have the instrumentalists on standby, and they're led by Mr. Kennedy, who produced the song. It's titled Interconnect.
Simple truth, we need each other. 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 Simple truth, we need each other.
Wow. Give it up for the students of Africa Community School at Sokoro, Abuja. The song was written by Tehila, Chimkasi, and Kiki. And of course, on the band, Nisi, Oladipo, and Victor, produced by Mr. Kennedy Samuel, and more credits to Deji Ogunle. Please, let's give them another round of applause. When we fell together, and now we rise, we are standing tall. The simple truth is we need each other. That's the interconnect we are talking about. Very quickly, I'd like to respectfully invite for his special remarks the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu. And he is represented at this event by the acting permanent secretary in the Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Gende David Kemje. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you.
The Vice President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of State, Education, Honorable Emeka Nwajuba, our development partners, UNICEF, other partners in the hall, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I present the opening remarks of the Honorable Minister of Education. It is my pleasure to join you on this occasion of the launch of the Nigerian Learning Passport for our children and youth of Nigeria. On behalf of the government of Nigeria, I wish to congratulate the Federal Ministry of Education, UNICEF, and partners on working together and presenting this learning platform to the children of Nigeria. At this outset, we're here to reflect on the most significant risk the education sector is facing today, and to craft viable strategies that no Nigerian learner is left behind. It will be noted that Nigeria has long recognized that investment in public education is a prerequisite for improved economic prosperity. Within this challenging time of economic stagnation and global pandemics such as COVID-19, significant investment is required in a new cohort of learners to generate the type of human capital needed to lift families out of poverty and close the inequality gap. His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari demonstrated his commitment to the education sector when he announced at last year's Global Education Summit in London that Nigeria will increase public spending in education by 50% from 2023 and 100% by 2025. We regard education as the greatest equalizer in a world witnessing rising poverty and stubborn inequality. As leading education partners and practitioners, you know better than anyone now how difficult the last 2 years have been for education systems, learners, teachers, and even our parents. During the COVID crisis, many of you have deployed tremendous efforts to ensure the continuity of learning. And today we are juggling with the challenge of opportunities of operating schools safely, addressing significant learning losses, supporting teachers, and managing hybrid systems. This is against an existing learning crisis where a significant proportion of children are unable to read a simple sentence or solve simple mathematics problems. At the same time, we are we look to the future, it is clear there is no going back to education we had before the COVID pandemic. Digital learning and alternative pathways have become a steady part of the backbone of learning and teaching the new skills that the young people need to participate effectively in a knowledge and increasing technology-driven economy. We must do all that is needed to increase their quality and utility. As a country, the government of Nigeria had rich policy environment on digital transformation even before COVID pandemic. The 2019 ICT policy on education was instrumental in fostering standardized and coordinated deployment of ICT in education. This is the time for all of us to engage in the entire process of ICT integration in education to lead a speedy transformation of teaching, learning, research, and administration. The Learning Passport developed for the Nigerian context has come at an opportune time to support children and youth in continuity of learning and acquisition of skills for the future. Nigerians are very grateful to Microsoft for their generous human and financial investment for the development of the Learning Passport globally, and to Global Partnership for Education for providing the financial support to adapt the Learning Passport for the Nigerian context. UNICEF, our long-standing partner, is working closely with the Federal Ministry of Education to rally the expertise, resources, and partnerships needed to scale the Nigerian Learning Passport across the length and breadth of Nigeria. I also understand over the past few weeks, a number of officials and teachers have come together in Abuja to screen almost 13,000 curriculum, align materials for placement on the passport. This is no small task, and I congratulate all involved. I am convinced that the Nigerian Learning Passport is going to be an effective tool to support learners and teachers in the teaching and learning process. Digital learning is also as effective as the content to which it enhances the human interaction necessary for learning to take place. While we invest in hardware and software development, ensure that teachers have the capacity and capability to engage in digital learning is equally a priority. Though I understand from UNICEF that an offline hub is being developed to reach children without connectivity, I would like to take this opportunity to urge private service providers, telcos, to come forward with innovative, low-cost solutions that can broaden connectivity and reduce the cost of data and devices that every child in Nigeria can benefit from quality teaching and learning content made available on platforms like the Nigerian Learning Platform. I reassure you that this government is ready to do whatever it takes to prepare our leaders for the world and for the bright future they deserve. I thank each one of you for your support today and in the future. My very best wishes to the implementation of the e-learning passport. Thank you. Thank you.
Please, let's give the minister's representative another warm round of applause. Mr. Gende David Kemje, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Education. Indeed, we need to prepare the leaders of the world. We need to be globally directed, so to speak, to ensure that they are well prepared for what's to come. And that's what we are celebrating today with the launch of the Nigeria Learning Passport. Now to deliver the keynote address and formally launch the Nigeria Learning Passport, I'd like to respectfully invite His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, who is ably represented by the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Honorable Chukwuemeka Nwajuba. Please, a warm round of applause for him as he makes his way here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. I will present the Vice President's speech, who, for issues around governance at this period, is unable to be here today and has asked that we make this presentation. So, Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Education, the UNICEF Nigeria Country Representative, Mr. Peter Hawkins, representatives from development and private partners, donor agencies, members of the media, distinguished guests, my fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me begin by thanking each one of you for being here with us on this momentous day, the launch of Nigeria Learning Passport, a new beginning of digital learning. I congratulate the Federal Ministry of Education and the UNICEF, as well as partners on this occasion. Over the last decade, Nigeria has made great strides in improving access to education. In the last 5 years, pre-primary school participation has increased from 45% to 61%. Primary school enrollment has increased by 5 million. The rate of out-of-school children has decreased by 10% from 42% to 32%. Gender parity in our schools and its enrollment has increased to 0.94%. These are phenomenal achievements, but access to school does not equate to learning. Nigeria is facing a learning crisis. Millions of children and young people are not developing even the basic skills they need to break out of poverty. This is being exacerbated by the unprecedented disruptions to schooling and learning, by incessant security worries, the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as more recent attacks of different forms. To ensure continuity of learning for all children and the resilience of education systems to future shocks, we must change and reimagine the education sector. Deploying innovations that rethink the current methodologies, including new approaches to delivering education in ways that defy digital divide, and ensuring learning continuity in emergencies has become imperative. The key driver of overall development is ultimately the quality of education our children receive in order to face challenges in life, as well as to use this education to respond to the changing needs of our country. The federal government of Nigeria is committed to providing access to quality education for all Nigerian children, and will continue to embrace innovations that help achieve this objective. The growth of technology and the increasingly broad range of actors providing online learning means and access connotes that we can deliver learning opportunities anywhere, anytime, and all different forms. A modern education should build and accredit basic skills, reading, writing, and math, as well as skills in problem solving, creativity, and critical thinking that young people need for work, to start a business, and to engage productively in their communities. However,
More than half of our children and young people are on the wrong side of the digital divide, limiting access to the same opportunities as their connected peers. This means providing access to every child and young person, some 30 million by year 2030, to world-class digital solutions, fostering partnerships across public and private sectors and with young people themselves seems to be the only way to proceed. Today, the Federal Ministry of Education, UNICEF, and partners are excited to celebrate this launch of the Nigerian Learning Passport, which sets the foundation for creating a system of education where digital technologies will be used to transform the ways that learning is provided and meet the needs of every child. The Nigerian Learning Passport is an effective tool to ensure the continuity of learning through access to curriculum-aligned basic and secondary education material for learners, teachers, and parents. It is available online and on mobile devices and will soon be available offline. It offers high quality and flexible teaching and learning, whether children are in school or out of it. We sincerely thank the UNICEF, the Global Partnership for Education, Microsoft, and other partners for giving the Federal Ministry of Education this great start in advancing digital learning and adding to the suite of e-learning systems available in Nigeria. What we need now is a coming together of government, the private sector, civil society, donor partners, teachers, learners, and parents to ensure that this great tool is available and used by all children, rich and poor, urban and rural, boys and girls, to deliver on their right to education. I invite you all to join us on this journey. It is therefore now my honor and privilege to officially launch the Nigerian Learning Passport. I thank you very much.
If the minister would just please wait. Sir, please, respectfully. Thank you so much. Now it's officially launched, and I believe it deserves another round of applause. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, sir, for the words on behalf of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The reason I've asked you, sir, to please wait is for us to take a picture. And I'd like to invite all the speakers at this event today. I'd like to invite you, Peter. I'd like to invite you, Mr. Permsec, representing the minister. Also, our guests from Airtel, from IHS, Microsoft. I'd also like to invite Azizat. Mac, it will be great to have you in this picture. And of course, our Chief of Education at UNICEF, Sadna, who has been behind organizing this event alongside her team. I think she deserves a great round of applause, and with the team as well. Great. Nice. Are we good? Did you put me in the picture? You Photoshop me, dear. Should I join? Okay, let me join. Thank you so much, sirs and ma'ams. Thank you. Appreciate it. Wow, it has been a worthwhile one. And indeed, with this launch, all you need to do is visit nlp.education.gov.ng. That's nlp.education.gov.ng. Take a look at the site for yourself. There's feedback. You can provide feedback. There are numbers you can call to share whatever feedback you have. Loads and loads of material for young people, for our students, for parents, for teachers, indeed for everyone. So check it out for yourselves, nlp.education.gov.ng. That is the Nigeria Learning Passport. And I believe it will be available for download on the mobile stores. Right, before we end this great event, I'd like to invite for the vote of thanks, Hajia Binta Abdul Qadir, who is the Director, Senior Secondary Education at the Ministry of Education. Please, a round of applause for Hajia Binta Abdul Qadir. Thank you.
His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Emi Osibanjo, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Right Honorable Chukwumeka Nwajioba, the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, UNICEF Country Representative of Microsoft, HIS and Airtel, Executive Secretaries of Universal Basic Education Commission, Honorable Commissioners of Education here present from the 36 states of the Federation, superb Executive Chairman, good afternoon to you all. It has been my honor to participate in this wonderful event of the launch of the Learning Passport, developed to enable all children in Nigeria, whether rich or poor, girl or boy, or living in urban or rural areas, to access inclusive quality education. I am privileged to pass the vote of thanks on behalf of our host for today, our long-standing and steadfast partner UNICEF, so ably led by Country Representative Mr. Peter Hawkins. A big thank you to you and to your team, sir. We drove our hearts for you, for your support to deliver on the right to education for every Nigerian child. On behalf of the Federal Ministry of Education, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency Professor Emi Osibanjo, GCON, for launching the Nigerian Learning Passport today, and for the country's commitment to supporting the roll-out of digital learning to all learners. Special appreciation to the Honorable Minister Malam Adamu Adamu for his exemplary leadership in digital learning and creating an enabling policy environment for digital learning for all the Nigerian children. Honorable Minister of State for Education, Honorable Chukwumeka Nwajioba, your input during the panel discussions was so insightful, and your leadership to this sector is bringing much needed education services to children wherever they are. My very special thanks to His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos State Governor, for exemplary leadership in the field of education and contribution and patronage for digital learning. To our technology partners, Microsoft, we are grateful to you for developing this robust learning management system, the Learning Passport, and working with UNICEF to reach every child across the globe. Thank you ever so much to our Thanks so much to our funding partners, the Global Partnership for Education, GPE. We greatly appreciate the generous funding and all the support Nigeria is receiving and will continue to receive for the purpose of system strengthening and improvement of learning outcome. Providing world-class digital learning solution will not be possible without private sector partners, and we would like to appreciate and support the support of telecom partners in school connectivity, especially Airtel and IHS towers. My special thanks go to the diverse set of speakers and panelists today for their message of support and insightful comment to advance digital learning in Nigeria. A big thank you to Madam Inya Ode for so skillfully and ably moderating the event, and all the participants attending this event and celebrating with us on this journey, especially the Young Nigerian Generation Unlimited, the ministers, governors, UBEC executive secretaries, commissioners for education, SUBEB executive chairman, and other important dignitaries. Finally, I would like to thank you all for being here today for the launch of this very important event. I also would want to personally appreciate you for supporting education globally and in our dear country, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hajia Binta. Now let's appreciate her with a round of applause. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that vote of thanks. Now, the end is near. It took months, plenty weeks of a lot of intense work to bring this to the fore, and we're so glad we're here. Just a few announcements before we close. Lunch is served for everyone at the mezzanine of the Congress Hall. There are directional boxes that will lead you up there. But then we have some people who will be having lunch in other places, the heads of national agencies, the directors of the Federal Ministry of Education, UBEC, TRCN, NIDDA, NTI, IHS, Airtel, Microsoft, representatives of governors here present, and of course UNICEF management would have their lunch in the VIP lounge, and they will be led by Judith. I'm sure Judith is around, and she will lead them through the door to my right. We also have a lunch space at the Buka, but that is for the 12 commissioners of education here present and international development partners. They will be led, those will be led by Judith, but the other team that I mentioned will be led by Azuka. So please, the rest of us will have lunch upstairs in this Congress Hall, and the students from Africa Community School, from Federal Government Girls College, Buari, and from Federal Government Boys College, Apo, should please remain behind in the hall. For parking tickets, I'm sure you all got your parking tickets when you were coming in, but once this is over, please just go to the main lobby of the hotel to validate your ticket. If you don't do that, you may not leave until you pay a fine. So please just go to the main lobby of the hotel to validate your ticket. While the vote of thanks was ongoing, we had a special guest who joined us, the Emir of Argungu, who is a strong supporter of education, a strong supporter of UNICEF. Alhaji Samaila Mera, we welcome you, Your Royal Highness, and your entire entourage. Thank you so much for making time out to be here. We know schedules are tight, and you still made out time to come. Thank you so much, Your Highness. Thank you for being here. And with that, we come to the end of the show. Thank you for being a fantastic audience. Remember to tell people about the Nigeria Learning Passport. Remember to share that link, nlp.education.gov.ng. Share it with family, with friends, wherever you are. It will go a long way and make a difference to the digital learning space here in Nigeria. My name is Inya Ode, and it has been an honor doing this today. May I now invite us all to rise as we sing the national anthem and end this event. So we're singing it together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you at the next event. God bless. So, Azuka, please lead those who are leading. Our commissioners of education and the international development partners. Judith will lead you to your lunch space at the Buka. For the rest of us, we'll be going upstairs for lunch. The students, please just stay put. Thank you.